Hi, I'm at the Menominee Cultural Preservation Center right now, and I have a guest here. This nice lady's granddaughter was having some issues of racism in the Gresham School, and she'd like to tell a little bit about what happened to her granddaughter in the school. And
yes. My granddaughter, Rose Kakatosh, she was in a lunch line when all of a sudden a lunch employee stopped her and made a big issue because she was wearing a medicine pouch. And Rose has been wearing that pouch every day, and all of a sudden it became a big issue. And the worker demanded of Rose what was that, and she tried to explain, and she wanted to know why she had it, and she wanted her to take it off, and she demanded that she take it off. And she said, "No, I can't. That is my medicine pouch." So then Jody Surprise, who worked in the kitchen, she says, "Well, what's in your pouch?" And Rose said, "Well, I have prayers in it, and I have ceremonial tobacco, and I have other things in it." So then this Jody made a big issue because Rose had said she had ceremonial tobacco in it. And about that time, the vice principal walked into the lunchroom, so this kitchen worker started hollering at him and telling him he had to get it out of there, that tobacco wasn't allowed on the school grounds. And I know this, and Rose knows this, but this isn't tobacco that's chewed or that's smoked. As a matter of fact, this is real fine tobacco, and if Rose didn't tell them it was tobacco, they would have never known it was tobacco. And eventually Rose had to surrender her pouch to the vice principal, and he said that she should surrender it to him because she trusted him. So she cried, and she took her pouch off and she laid it on his desk. And she was still really upset, so she went to talk to the guidance counselor, and she was trying to explain that this pouch is very sacred to her and is sacred with the Menominee traditions in it. She learned all the teachings that went with the pouch. And my granddaughter Rose, sometimes I call her my daughter because I've raised her. And she's a real traditional young lady. She's 13, and she's a dancer. She loves to go to powwows and dance. So she was trying to explain the importance of the sacred pouch to the guidance counselor, Miss Lee Pack. And this counselor started giggling and laughing at Rose. And so Rose really didn't know how to take this, and she was very discouraged, and so she left. She had arrived crying, so she just left, turned around and left. And she was supposed to stay at school that day after school, but she was too upset. And she didn't go to her last hour of class because she was too upset. So she called me to come get her right away, so I did. And she told me what happened. So I turned around. I live in Bowler. We live in Bowler, and this school is in Gresham, so maybe 20 miles away. So I turned turned around and went back to the school, and I went in to see the principal, Mr. Matson, and I asked for Rose's pouch back. And Mr. Matson said he didn't have it. And I said, "You don't have it?" I said, I heard that it was turned over to you. And he said, "No, another mother came in with a student and was explaining to him the importance of the pouch. And he said he examined it and opened it and took some of the contents out. And I was very upset. Rose was very upset. And Mr. Matson, instead of having the courtesy of giving the pouch back to her, he gave it to that younger student. So she didn't get her pouch back till the next day.
But that other student did give it back.
Yes, she did.
And then they violated her by taking out her contents.
Yes.
And I had questions in my mind that this, from what I understood, from what I've heard, what people told me is that she was being yelled at and screamed at in the lunchroom. Take that off. To the girl was being yelled at from this lady in the lunchroom.
Yes.
Who works for lunchroom.
Yes.
And an employee of the school.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess what bothered me was the idea is that they would allow an employee of the lunchroom to yell at a student.
Yes, I thought that was,
that shouldn't be allowed.
No, I thought it was unnecessary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, it's very wrong. And to be racist that way while she's yelling too is very wrong.
Yes. It was very upsetting for Rose. And Rose has been taught to respect her elders and try to respect everybody. So she tried to calmly answer her questions as she was being yelled at. But that was just totally upsetting to everybody. And then this kitchen worker, Jody Surprise, then she started her yelling at the vice principal because he walked in. So she continued in this behavior, and I thought that this was very unnecessary. And I thought that it wasn't her role to be yelling at anybody, that her duties were to hand the food out to the students, and it didn't include trying to stop Rose or trying to make her take her pouch off, and she was yelling at her like that. Take it off. Get that thing out of here.
Yeah, the yelling, take it off and get it out, get that out of here and take it off. Yeah, that I think there should have been some disciplinary action on that, as far as something. A lot of places would have fired her, but I don't think they can fire her that quick. But as far as what I've heard from others was that there was nothing done, there was nothing written up in her employee file at all in regards to the fact that she was yelling at a student. And racial slurs too, which in no way should be allowed in any school. And And another thing is that that principal took it from her like he thought, that vice principal took it from her like he thought, it was okay for him to do so. And so he thinks it's okay for another kid to have it, but not her.
Yeah.
Was this kid tribal too?
Yes. She was Stockbridge, Muncie, and Menominee.
Mm-hmm.
But that vice principal took the pouch and took it down to the principal's office. And the principal is also the superintendent of schools. Mm-hmm. And he's the one that gave that pouch to that younger girl.
Yeah. He really didn't have any place, place to do that.
Rose, she's very proud of her Menominee heritage, and she follows her Menominee heritage. And she enjoyed going to culture camp. She went to 1.5 culture camps last summer, and she picks up on the Menominee language real easy.
Yeah.
And she uses the pouch, and she'll wear it, and she prays with it. And she prays in Menominee. She prays before she eats, and she prays when she's having trouble, like in math class or one of the classes. She prays at least 4 times a day during the school day with that pouch. Mm-hmm. And she's a real traditional young girl. And she's very upset that this happened, and then it snowballed. Mm-hmm. It didn't just end there. I went to the school board meeting, and a lot of Menominees were there, and they had spoken on behalf of Rose and asked why there was no apology to her. Mm-hmm. And the superintendent wrote me a letter of apology, and I told him that shouldn't have been written to me, should have been written to her.
Right. Yes. Right.
She has yet to receive any kind of apology.
Yeah. Well, I find it strange too that he would have her be questioning her about her spiritual stuff with her being alone. Hi, Jean. Say hi.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
That he would be allowed to question her alone without another female being present in the room. I thought that was very wrong, especially situations of younger women that are Native and older authority male figures. There's a big fear factor with a lot of Native women, especially younger women, with older male because of the things that have happened in the past.
Yes.
And so I'm just wondering if there's something, I'm thinking of maybe going to one of the school board meetings in regards to that when these younger Native girls going to this school, which is off the reservation, if things happen, that they should have an attendant, a female attendant with, when they do have to speak with their authority figures that are older males, because she did not have to give that pouch up, but she did.
She did.
He told her to, but she did, but it wasn't his right to take that from her. It's actually stealing. But because there's tobacco in it. But there were other things yelled out to her as to, from the lunch lady, as far as I know, that, in regards to why they thought she was supposed to take it off, racial things. But then it's the same as that the Christian students can wear a cross, you know, with Jesus on it.
I brought that up also.
Yeah.
And I brought it up because I was trying to explain the importance of this pouch and what it meant to her.
Yeah.
And a lot of rumors started, and Rose, being the young lady she is, she got up in a class and she said, if you're talking about me, please don't talk about me, because no one ripped this pouch off me. That's what one of the rumors was. So she corrected some of the rumors, and she asked everybody not to talk about it, that it was private, it was sacred to her. And it just was terrible after that. Then her math teacher the next day, the administrator changed his policy from it had to be worn inside to that it could be worn outside her shirt. But he didn't tell his staff. So this math teacher saw it outside of her shirt. So he went running down to the principal and reported that. The principal told me that he said Rose flashed her pouch at him twice. And I know she would never, ever do that.
Flashed it.
Yeah. She would never do that.
That's a strange thing for him to say. That's really weird. She flashed the pouch at him twice.
Yeah. And
Flashed.
I
It's
thought,
weird.
this teacher gives her a hard time all the time.
Yeah.
And so then the principal said, no, she can wear it on the outside. So then he had nothing to say. He brought her down there for nothing. The principal talked to her and told her she could go back to class. But it was strange how that happened. And then after I went to the board, their school board meeting, the principal gave Rose a cold shoulder. And so a lot of her teachers did the same thing to her. And teachers that were understanding were no longer understanding. And my daughter Rose, she missed quite a bit of school because she has braces, and I had to take her up to the Lac de Flambeau reservation for her braces. So that meant a whole day, like 3.5 hours driving there and whatever they did, and then 3.5 hours back. So she missed a whole day, and she missed quite a bit of school like that. But if she ever missed school, it was because she was sick or because she had these dental appointments and no other reason. And then she, I wanted to tell you too that last year, January 17th, Rose was in gym class and she fell down and broke her foot. And it really hurt her. She was in a lot of pain, and a lot of students were around, so she would never cry in front of them. So she was going, oh, my foot, oh, my foot. You know how kids can joke? Well, she was doing that. And she told her gym teacher, Mr. Wild, that she really injured her foot. And he wouldn't allow her to call me, and he wouldn't allow her to go to the office. So she had to hop around on one foot and use the wall to try to steady herself while she was hopping. And finally he saw her at the end of the day hopping around on one foot. And then he called home about 5 minutes before school was out.
Mm-hmm.
So my daughter went and picked her up right away and took her to the hospital, and yes, she had a fractured foot. So this just shows that if she was sick, they wouldn't let her call the office or go to the office or notify me. And when she was injured, they wouldn't let her notify me right away. And no one notified me about her medicine pouch being taken until Rose told me herself. And that's why I went right back to school. And during this broken foot incident, I just gave the school the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to be fair with them, and I just feel that it's gotten to the point where it isn't fair anymore.
There's, I think that from what I've heard, that there's over 50% of the kids in the school are Menominee.
Well, 50% are native.
Yeah, okay.
Mostly Menominee.
Yeah.
Even on the Stockbridge, Muncie, Bandamo, Mohegan Reservation.
Yeah.
A lot of Menominee are intermarried.
And so basically there's issues of racism going on within the school that hasn't been being corrected, like your granddaughter being injured. They didn't acknowledge it and they didn't call you, and then being taken to the office and then made to give up her pouch and being yelled at. They never notified you, and
No.
you're her legal guardian.
Yes.
She lives with you like she's your child, your grandmother and her mother too.
Yes.
And they never acknowledged that.
No.
What happened at the school board meeting when you guys brought these issues up of not being acknowledged? What happened there?
The superintendent, Mr. Matson, the principal, handed out papers to everyone saying that they wouldn't answer any questions, that we could talk. But also in there it said we could get up and speak if we lived in a district or worked in a district. And we don't live in a district, but we got up and spoke anyway.
They're supposed to allow anybody. I've gone to school board meetings before. I've taken my cameras and set them out, because they're supposed to be public and open, and and be listening to what people say. So I wonder, did they listen to you? I mean, when you were there.
Just the president looked like he was listening, but he never acknowledged anything anyone said. And even Dr. Paulus got up and spoke. And I had spoken on behalf of Rose and said how this shouldn't have happened to her in the first place. And that she thought that the school should at least give Rose an apology.
Yeah.
And I said that they owed her an apology. I asked for an apology from that board and from the school, because that board is supposed to govern that school. Even with Mr. Matson there as the superintendent, it seemed to me like he runs that board. He tells that board what they're going to do or how they're going to react.
So they don't act like a normal school board, more or less.
No, they were just quiet.
Yeah, well, a lot of them usually are. They don't say anything when you come up and talk, and you tell them their thoughts, so that when they do their conversing, they can, in their votings or whatever, and they do make their decisions on what they do. But a lot of them really don't talk that much. But they have to, they give people an opportunity to come in and speak their piece, whether they tell them, how many minutes you have. You have 3 minutes, you have 5 minutes, whatever. The ones that I've gone to at other, in other places, other schools. But
they did have a time limit too.
Yeah, but it just seems like from what I've heard is that they really didn't care about the issue. Like they didn't think it mattered, like it was any big deal, and they didn't feel like that there was any racism going on. Another thing too is that I know that I'd heard that from the people here from the Cultural Preservation Museum had gone too, because they were the ones that taught her, to make the pouch. She made the pouch with them at their cultural camp that they had going on this last summer. They had 2 of them last summer, and then she had attended one of the cultural camps, and they taught her about the pouch and tobacco, how it's sacred, and praying with it. And so what she had tried to explain to the principal, from what I heard, was that it was for her for prayer, and that's why she had it.
Yes.
And so that's what some of the people from there had gone to the school board meeting to see what was going on. And, I wouldn't mind going to one. I'd be interested in going to one too. I've gone to school board meetings before where I know that there's racism going on, and I've gotten up, I find out what the issues are, and I get up and I speak too, I tell them what I think. So do you know when the next school board meeting is?
No, I didn't find out when the next one is, but I will find out.
Are you planning on going?
I will, yes.
Yeah.
Because I want to ask why Rose never received an apology letter. I would like an apology from that school worker, because she's the one that started everything, and it was really none of her concern.
Right.
She was just there to hand the food out to the children, screaming and hollering at them.
Yeah.
Not to make demands on anyone. I think this woman just bullied my little Rose.
Yeah, well, the teacher that took her to the office too.
Yes.
It's like, why would a teacher have to take her to the office like that? Could you say, well, we need to go see the principal? Did you take her to the office? That just doesn't sound right.
No. But that's the teacher she has the trouble with all the time now. Well, she'll be sitting in her math class trying to do her math and trying to catch up and whatnot, and he'll constantly walk back and forth by her and stare at her. And then a few times she said he'll come look over her shoulder and ask her what she's doing. And Rose said that completely breaks her train of thought.
You guys thought about taking her out of that school?
Oh,
another school?
Yes. I plan to do that after the semester ends.
I don't blame you.
I don't think she can. I don't think she can get a fair shake here by anyone.
I think from what I've been understanding, what I've been hearing is that it's caused a major upset with her.
Oh yes. It has. It's just like a major blow to her. And she's so young, and to be questioned like that about her belief system is really uncalled for.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's
inexcusable.
Yeah. If they, I say it's racism because even if they felt that they had to take with it was questionable with tobacco, he could have held it there and called you. Say,
Yes.
you know, this can't be here. Can you come pick it up? I can't give it back to her. But they didn't do anything like that. They took it apart, took the tobacco off, and gave it to someone else. Like it didn't matter. And that's a piece. Everything she put in there is from her heart, from her beliefs and her prayers. So he's just taking her prayers out, dumping her prayers out, and giving the pouch away.
What?
You know,
what?
that's not that.
No.
That's like theft.
What eventually happened to Rose is
It is
bad
theft.
things start happening to her. So she took the pouch off, and she's going to make a new one and put new prayers in it. And Nakwa said he would bless it for her
Oh, that's good.
and bless whatever she puts in it. But she just didn't have to be to begin with. Her belief system was questioned, and it shouldn't have been. And she was really traumatized by this. And the school doesn't acknowledge anything of the such, like she's not traumatized. My question is, how would you know?
Right.
You didn't feel this. You didn't go through it.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, you know, what do you pray with? What do you like the most? Let me take it.
Yeah.
Say it's not yours anymore, and then give it to somebody else that doesn't have anything to do with you. You know. I mean, it's just it's like, here, give me your cross. Okay, here, you have that.
That's right.
It doesn't matter. It's theft. It's theft.
You know, and that's why he changed the policy, Mr. Matson, so quickly from having it tucked in to having it tucked out. Because when I went there and asked for her pouch, I said, Mr. Matson, this is the same as a Christian would wear a cross. I said, it's very sacred to Rose, and she is not going to wear it inside her shirt. That would make it look like she was ashamed of her culture, and she is not. She's very proud.
And now she's scared. She's afraid of is she afraid of him because he's an older white male?
I don't know, but I have her in counseling now because she was waking up in the middle of the night and crying. And she hated to go to school that way, but she had to go to school. And her eyes would be swollen and red from crying. And so I thought, this is getting to be very dangerous for her. So I put her in counseling. I was worried about her.
Yeah. Well, you could sue them too.
Yes.
I hope you do.
I'm filing discrimination suits, not suits, but I'm filing discrimination complaints with the Department of Public Instruction. And Washington has called me and said they may or may not investigate because it sounds to be more religious than racial. And my personal take on it is that it's both.
Right.
It's both. You can't separate the two.
Yeah, and you can't allow an employee to yell at a student that she really doesn't have anything to do with or any connection, and she's yelling at her. And then another teacher take her down to the office because she's wearing a pouch that she was instructed on how to make of her culture that she's proud of, and she's using it to pray with, but she has wearing it around her neck. Okay, so they're using the fact that it could have tobacco in it as their excuse. Is their excuse, but not enough tobacco to roll a cigarette or
No.
get a big puff of something. I mean, just not enough of that. But just a pinch of tobacco, they don't. And then whatever else she put in there that was special to her, if she had a special stone or whatever, that's her special thing, her privacy. So, for somebody to think that it's okay to do that and then give it away, it's theft. They may call it whatever they want, it's like confiscate it and give it away to somebody else. It's theft.
Yeah, I think so too.
They need to give it back to her. If they didn't feel she should have it, give it to you. But, they never really gave you a good explanation as to why they did it, did they?
No, they didn't. The principal apologized, and he told me, and he told Rebecca and Miss Rose Shanador that he looked at it, and he opened it, and he took some of the stuff out of it. And then I think after the school board hearing, their attorney was there. I think their attorney advised him not to say such things, because then he had an article in the Stockbridge Muncie Tribal newspaper, and then he had another article where he retracted. He said he didn't say he opened the pouch. He said it was open and he looked in it, but no, that pouch is not open. And it wasn't for anyone to open. So he's really retracting things that he originally said, and he can retract all he wants.
Do you remember what he said?
About the pouch?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I was sitting there and I said, well, why did you take it? And he said, I had to look at it and I had to open it. He said, and I was praying that there wouldn't be tobacco in it. He said, I didn't want tobacco to be in it. And he said, I opened it and looked, and he said, and there was tobacco in it. But I don't believe that, because the tobacco that was in it was real fine. It wasn't tobacco that was marketed. It was grown right here on the Menominee Reservation, right outside the Historic Preservation Office. And it's rolled in it. It's worked until it's really fine. It's almost like a powder. But that should have never happened to this little girl.
No.
And it caused her a lot of trauma. And it caused the family a lot of trauma too.
Well, I'm sure she's in shock, She's what, 13?
13.
Yeah. She goes to a cultural camp. She makes something very special. She really loves it a lot. She's happy and excited about it. And she can pray with it when she wants to, keep it next to her heart.
Yes.
And then some strange woman she doesn't know was screaming at her, take it off, and yelling all kinds of horrible things at her. And then the teacher is mean to her, and they take her down to the principal. The principal takes it and then gives it to somebody else.
Yes.
That is just, it's not right.
No, nothing about it is right, and no matter what they say, they're not making it right.
No.
And it just is totally violated now.
I think that there needs to be more people going to the school board meeting. I think that place needs to be flooded. Get some media there, get some attention to it. That there's, there are issues of racism in the school. Now, it'd be one thing if he took her tobacco, and gave her the pouch back. Still, he took out the contents he should not have.
No,
He should not have. You know, there'd be one thing if he asked her to do it, but he did it. So he's violating your privacy, he's violating your personal property. It's just like going up to them. Open your purse, open your wallet, open your change. You know, I want to see how much money you have. Or I want to see what you have, this or that. You know, they'll use tobacco. But you know, it's obvious to him that she's not going to smoke it.
Yeah.
You know, he could just say, well, you can leave it here till after school, and you know, your family has to pick it up because it's tobacco. I can't let you have it. That would be one thing. But he didn't do that.
No,
he gave it to somebody else. So that says it didn't really have to do with the tobacco. It had to do with issues of racism or just in general. You know. But then yet he gives it to another native girl, which is odd.
Yeah.
It's not to have tobacco in it so your natives can have it now, but it doesn't matter who. It's racism. It's racism.
Yes, I feel that way too when I'm anxious for her to finish up this semester because I'm going to take her out at school.
Yeah, I would too.
I put her there because I thought she would be safe there. But I never dreamed that her personal belief and her Menominee culture would be questioned.
Yeah,
I never dreamed that would happen to her.
Yeah. Well, especially when there's others going to that school.
Yes.
That are Menominee.
Yes, there are. Over 50% of their school is native. And since the board meeting, that board and the principal, I think, have really jumped around and did things that they wouldn't have ordinarily done, like brought in DPI from Madison to talk to people, staff, and to parents, and to council members, and to cultural people. And they had a number of teaching scheduled after that. But before that, there was nothing about different practices and different beliefs. And in Wisconsin alone, we have the 11 tribes. So our schools have plenty of natives in them, and not to acknowledge that is wrong, and not to teach the non-natives about natives is wrong. And our history is very unique to us, and we're very happy with it, proud of it.
It's very nice. You know, when I used to go to a lot of the racial justice groups, meetings and things, and I was in Madison and took a lot of different workshops. And I know that a lot of people, school employees, have to go through the training on, you know, knowing what is considered to be racist and what isn't, the do's and don'ts, and the understanding it. So I am wondering if maybe they are getting away with not having these, or if it's something is what maybe that's what the school needs. You know, find out whether or not they do have these trainings that are required for teachers to have, and for, you know, all the staff. Yes. Maybe there are people in their lunchroom need to be take this training. They can be a little more sensitive and a little more us racist and understand that when they do these things, it's against the law.
Yes.
It is against the law. Yelling and screaming at somebody is considered disorderly conduct.
Yes. Yes, I agree. The principal said that it was my interpretation that she yelled and screamed at Rose. And I said, well, I said, then it's my interpretation. I said, because I don't allow that. I said, and I don't know what parent would allow that. Mm-hmm. It was totally uncalled for. And I know they wouldn't like me to go into school and holler and scream at their employees.
Yeah, you wouldn't. You're normal. You know, as I'm saying, this is not normal. Mm-hmm. It is not normal behavior.
No.
People get arrested for it. And, you know, just, yeah, I have a hard time trying to think in my mind why nothing was done to this teacher, or not the teacher, but I mean the lunch lady.
Lunch lady. They just kind of pushed that aside.
Yeah.
And she's the one that started everything.
Well, people start going to those board meetings. You know, there, you know, get people going to the board meetings. Maybe you can contact some of the people from Madison who work on issues of racism, and there's a lot of places you can contact, and I can help you find some of the contacts if you want. Yeah, and you contact, see if you can get somebody to join in with you and go to some of the meetings, and because if it happens to your granddaughter, it's happening to others.
Yes.
And maybe some of these families, you know, people need to get together and start going to the board meetings.
Yes.
Some of them might be afraid.
I think a lot of the parents are afraid to approach anyone on the issue. And I know it has happened to other students. It can't only just happen to my little Rose. It has happened to others too. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, this would have never happened in the first place. So I think a lot of parents just don't know what to do, or frustrated, or even afraid, because they don't want their children to be doing bad in school or looked at as bad, stereotyped. And now my Rose is stereotyped. And that behavior of that teacher, that math teacher, is rubbing off, and he is one who likes to gossip. And he's just chattering about Rose to all the teachers. So it has affected her.
He's talking about her to other teachers?
Yes.
Well, how did you find out about this?
Rose told me that other teachers had told her that.
Oh.
And that she noticed a difference in attitude. And she said even Mr. Matson won't look her right in the eye. He looks past her or through her, but never look her right in the eye now. And he was friendly to her before this happened. But then that tells me what his character really is about. It's nothing to be. It's something to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
And that's the way I feel like this principal has shamed himself and shamed the school too. He didn't take charge like he should have. That vice principal didn't take charge. He should have stopped that lunchroom lady right then.
Yeah.
And told her leave Rose alone.
Yes.
But he didn't. He listened to her. And then asked Rose to come to his classroom and talk about it.
Mm-hmm. So, is this stuff here? Is
Yes. It's,
hold on a sec.
excuse me.
Okay.
It's the complaints that I wrote to Washington Department of Public Instruction on actions like racism, but they said they don't cover religion, they just cover sex and origin and geez, I forgot a few others. But I said that I think this is racism, that you can't really separate them between her cultural belief or religion and the racism, that they're combined together. Excuse me. So I answered their questions, and questions aren't on here, just the answers are. And I would have liked originally just to have had apologies sent to Rose, but none came. So now I'm asking that, and they probably couldn't do it, but I'm asking that this hot lunch worker, this kitchen worker, that she be disciplined, and that she be told, don't go to this area again, don't do this again.
Yeah, she doesn't need to converse with the students if it's not her job to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no one was conversing with her. Rose was in line with her friends, and they were all chatting back and forth. When she saw Rose wearing her pouch, and here's a picture of Rose with her pouch on.
Yeah, I've seen it.
That was
I've seen it.
that was in Indian Country Today.
Okay, is it okay to use this picture?
Yes.
Okay.
She said, I don't have one with me, but I have a picture just like that.
Yeah, I've seen it on Facebook. I can get it easy.
Okay.
I can find it.
And even on Facebook, she was criticized quite a bit. Yeah.
Racist people?
Yeah. I told her that they were friends with Jody Surprise, and Jody would never talk like that. Never say
Jody
it.
Surprise? She's the woman that was yelling at her?
Yes. Yes. And it went back and forth, and I told Rose, don't reply. Just don't reply to anything anymore.
Save it. Copy it. Copy it. Because it's harassment.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of shows you the friends that she hangs out with.
Yeah.
You know, if they are really her friends to write stuff like that.
This was a friend of Jody Surprise, not a friend of my granddaughter.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, you know, this person yells at her like this, and then her friends and people are going to your teen granddaughter's page to contact her to write stuff. That's really childish.
That is. I thought that her math teacher was really childish with his attitude. Like, I'm going to tell on you, you come with me to the office.
This is something you need to bring up to that board meeting too. I think, you know, that these people, if you copy any of it, if you're able to copy it, the things that they wrote, you know, to let them know this is what was said. This is what's being put on her Facebook page by your employees' friends. You know, I mean, that's what I would do.
I can ask her if she saved it. A lot of times what these young kids do will screenshot it.
Yeah.
All that is I just don't know how to do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but she knows how.
Yeah, I know all these young people know stuff I don't either. I'm constantly having to figure out what to do. Yeah, so this is what you sent to Washington,
Yes.
and then you send any others anywhere else?
No, just
Okay.
to Washington. So I don't know what they're going to decide. And in their in their laws, or not laws, but they said that if I file anything in federal court or anywhere else, they'll stop their investigations. So I don't want their investigations to stop until they're completed.
Oh, okay.
And then I plan to take action for my baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, this is so traumatic on her. I was shocked that she was waking up in the middle of the night crying, and I just didn't know what to do about that.
Well, they took what she prayed with,
Yeah.
and then gave it away to somebody else like it was nothing. You
Yeah.
know, like this other person can have it, but you can't. That's theft. It's theft, and you know they I don't know how he could think it was okay to give it to somebody else.
I couldn't understand that either. That is just boggling.
Now, what would you like to see happen?
Well, I would like, they are bringing in different cultures and whatnot, but I don't want this to be all of a sudden they get these teachings, and then they forget about it, and then it's not brought up again. I would like to see that school has mandatory history sections about our different tribes in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And other tribes from out of Wisconsin, so that these students, even the native students, so they have a wider knowledge of other people, and understand them and know what other tribes are going through, and not just our tribe, but other tribes too. So I would like to see that these are mandatory in every grade each year, and they have a powwow every other year, and that's a social event, which is nice, but they need more education too. And this powwow could be made nicer if they wanted to, and it could be bigger, and maybe it should even be every year, and it could even be during the winter. It could be a midwinter powwow.
Yeah.
We have a lot of beautiful native dancers, and I would like to see that they're dancing at these powwows, that other parents and students see for themselves a lot to be proud of.
Yeah.
And that a lot of our children are someone to be proud of, and to be looked up to, and to be respected.
Yeah.
And that one day, some of these children, they're going to be our leaders. more education, the better.
Yeah. Did you hear about that winter giveaway that went on over the weekend in the outfit?
No.
Oh, I put on a couple of benefits in Madison, and I tell people collecting, and there's some other friends of mine. We get together, and we get people to donate items, which was Diana Miller, and then this year Donna Hack joined us, and then we were bringing things to the reservation and dropping them off at different drop spots, but then that command building built down, so a family, drove some of the stuff down and give it out, the Girls and Boys Club. And this year Donna Hack and I went, just yesterday Donna Hack and I were over there and had a big giveaway, so whatever people donated, what we could buy with what the money people donated, we head out there and had a big giveaway.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, so I said, Donna, should we do it next year? And she says, yeah, So, okay, we'll do it again.
Better.
Yeah. Yeah, and so like we have the ones on the other end in Madison, putting the word out, we're collecting, and we're trying to collect it, and then now we got, Donna joined us because she used to be in that little house,
Oh, yeah.
That was a pantry in the clothing distribution, and it burned down, and now the church just has a little place, So now they need, they don't have a big place for it anymore, so might as well just do this stuff and take all this winter stuff into there, and where people can just. The Boys and Girls Club was perfect.
Yeah.
We had a whole wall, a lot longer than this wall here. The floor up to here, full of stuffed animals.
Oh, nice.
Give the kids garbage bags, and they were just loading the stuffed animals. It was so funny. The one little kid says, John, he goes, "This is the best day of my life," because he could pick out all those stuffed animals and take whatever he wanted out of all of it. It's funny.
Isn't that cute, though?
Yeah, that's the fun part about it. And then some you see kids that go over and they're picking out their own coats. They try them on.
Yeah.
Take what you want. It was fun. We all you're talking about kids and things. I just started thinking about that. But we're going to do it again next year. We'll do one in November and then one in December. One for warm winter clothing, and the next for winter clothing and blankets and stuff, and Christmas presents. Or whatever. I say new or used toys, it doesn't matter. Just send them the new stuff. We put off to the side, and if people need Christmas stuff and we have it, we can give it to them.
Well, I worked in Milwaukee years ago, and I worked at a little Indian agency. It was called Indian Urban Affairs Council. And I went on TV asking for donations for natives. And a big room was just packed full of donations.
Yeah,
food and everything.
That is really cool. Yeah, I did it on my show, and I didn't get much for my show. I mean, one lady came in, and I wasn't sure. She said she saw it on Facebook, and she dropped off a bag of toys and then But I haven't. I didn't get much from my TV show, from Mending the Hoop, from the Mending the Hoop show. I didn't get very much from that, but it was mostly like friends and people I knew and people who knew people. And we do these little benefits. And last one there wasn't hardly anybody in the benefits, but Patty Lowe. Do you know who Patty Lowe is?
No.
Patty Lowe came in and brought 2 big bags full of coats and things, and
nice.
and donated donated $100 towards the travel and stuff. And I had a friend who was driving a load up, and I went to give her money, and she says, "Oh, I don't want any money. I'm paying for my own gas." And so I took the money that Patty Lowe had donated, and I bought like stockings and gloves. You know, like Christmas stockings and gloves and things like that. And I bought, you know, with that, and then I had put some other donation money into it too. I bought like, you know, 60 to 70 pair of gloves, and they were gone right away in the first hour. All the new items were gone.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So that was neat. And how long ago was it you did this?
Oh geez, it had to be like 30 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And did you get a lot of help?
Yes.
That's good.
And what really helped too was we went out and picked things up too. People dropped off and we went and picked things up.
I've been doing that too.
Mm-hmm.
I had a load to pick up the night before I came up here, and I had to call the girl and say, "I'm sorry, I can't come get it. I have too much to do." I was overwhelmed. My car was packed full. I mean, my storage unit still has stuff in it, but you know, only way we can survive on it is with donations.
Yes.
You know, people donating money, that little bit helps because it pays for stuff.
Time.
Yeah. Like, you know, I bought stuff for sandwiches in there off of what was in the communication tree account, and we all people ate as they were coming in and getting stuff. So I mean, nothing, you know, really goes to waste.
Yeah.
The last time I did a benefit, we had stuff left over from that, brought it up here. Nothing goes to waste. You know, I mean, what we would give out meal pay, we had packed up and took it to the place in Kashina, because that way, you know, things get given for free. You take it to other places, they sell it.
Yeah.
You know,
the much shop would give it away.
Right. Yeah. But I'm crippled myself. You know, we're old and we're elder crippled women, and but we like doing this, and then hooking up with Donna Hack was a blessing.
Oh, isn't that something?
Yeah, even at her house. We had a good time. I just wish we could have got more new stuff. And so many people say we're going to donate new stuff, and they didn't. I wish we would have.
Yeah. But you got some.
Yeah. And the people from the Boys and Girls Club, they're really nice too.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They are.
So,
maybe I could work with you next year.
That would be nice.
Yes.
That would be very nice. It would be great if you could break it in like that again.
So yes, I'd like to work with you next year.
That would be nice. I'll tell Diana, and I'll tell Donna. And Diana Miller's daughter helped me over at the storage, you know, move things around. I can't do all that, but she helped me.
She has beautiful daughters.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're basically looking for them to get better education in the school, an apology for your granddaughter for this issue with Gresham, and then you want them to. How do you want to go about seeing for yourself the progress of what goes on with the school? Do you want them to address you that way, or you just want to know about the changes that they have, or maybe?
I'd like to know about the changes that they've had, and that they're a positive Um, I don't think they would. I would like that this never happened to anyone else.
Yeah.
And that they realize that this is causing trauma. And I don't think they realize it. Or if they do, they don't want to recognize it as trauma. But it caused a lot of trauma in this little girl's life, and with me, her keeper. I love this little girl immensely. I don't wish that to happen to anybody. And they need to know that we're proud of our race. That we're part of history no matter what they think. We're here.
Yeah.
And we've been part of history from day one. We just want fairness. And I don't think that's too much to ask from anybody, just for a fair shake.
Yeah. That's right. You're right. Yeah. And respect. It's another thing. Respect.
Yes, they even the principals, the administrators at the school have to think, have to learn more respect. Think before they do an action or say something. They've got to start using their head a little more.
Yeah.
And giving us a little respect.
Yeah.
It's not like we're stereotyped. We're not sitting there as little dumb Indians. We're not.
Yeah.
A lot of us are very educated and
yeah.
have been